Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tammy Dooley. I'm the director of Visit Granbury. And I would like to welcome you to the 4th annual Friends of Tourism Brunch celebrating National Travel Tourism Week in Granbury. Today we celebrate the power of travel and tourism into our Granbury and Hood County economy. If you are here today, you are a friend of tourism, so give yourself a round of applause. We want to thank you for your support and continued partnerships with Visit Granbury. I can just say that we could not do it without you. We represent you all. We hope we make you proud. So today we're going to really give back to all of you who have given to us. So we thank you for that. I would also like to welcome some very important guests that are with us today, and elected officials, VIPs. Of course, everyone in this room is a VIP, but please help me give a round of applause for Granbury's Mayor, Jim Jarrett, is in the house. Mayor, you look great in a cowboy hat. I just want to say you really do. Also, Mayor Pro Tem, Bruce Wadley, who took time out of his busy schedule. City Councilman Skip Overdeer is here with us. My good friend, Hood County Judge Ron Massengill. Our President and CEO of the Granbury Chamber, Miss Holly Martin, is in the house. Deputy City Manager, Mr. Michael Ross, is with us today. I will tell you, our Chief of Police, Mitch Galvan, was on his way here, but had to take care of pressing business, so his lovely wife, Sarah, is joining us today. We also have a very special guest here. I would like to introduce to you Miss Ansley Reeves, who is the 2025 North Texas High School Rodeo Queen. I don't care what you say, when a rodeo queen's in the house, it's a big deal. I also would like to just have them stand up. Everyone is here for one real reason, and it's to see the one and only Texas legend, Mr. Red Stegall. You will hear from him toward the end of the program, so we will make this fast. If you know me, you know this will be a lightning show, so we will go very, very fast. I would like to invite Mr. Michael Ross up to the stage to do the official city welcome.
Thank you, Tammy. Yes, that's an old picture. Good morning, everyone, and welcome and thank you for joining us at the 2025 Friends of Tourism Celebration Brunch. Today we gather to celebrate the incredible contributions of our city's tourism stakeholders, partners, and volunteers. This marks the 4th consecutive year for this event, and it's heartwarming to see So many familiar faces here this morning. The city takes immense pride in having a dedicated tourism department as part of our staff, allowing us to support the vital work that Visit Granbury does for our community. On a personal note, one of my proudest moments with the city of Granbury was interviewing Tammy Dooley on October 26, 2018 at 11 a.m. I was determined not to let her leave my office without accepting the role as our new Convention and Visitor Bureau Director, and thankfully she did. Since then, Tammy has assembled an exceptional team and has propelled our city into the tourism spotlight. This transformative period is not just a chapter in our history, it will be remembered as a revolutionary era for Granbury. None of this success would be possible without the unwavering support of our stakeholders, partners, and volunteers that support Visit Granbury. Today, we are thrilled to honor each of you for your invaluable contributions. Thank you once again for being here, and good morning. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Richard Hafes, who will lead us in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Will you please rise and join me in prayer, followed by our pledges? Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for the many blessings you've given to us. We're especially grateful for today for this great community you've blessed us with so many great leaders, business people, and volunteers who make this a great place, not just for our visitors, but for our residents as well. Father, we're grateful to know what you've done for us and pray that you continue to shower your blessings upon our city and its residents and visitors. Lord, we pray your blessing upon this event and thank you for all you've done for us. In your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Michael Ross. I don't remember that day quite like that. I remember after about an hour and a half interview conversation, he had a lunch appointment and he kicked me out of his office. But that's how I remember it. But today we especially pay tribute to Granbury's Western cowboy tourism, hence the attire. A form of cultural and heritage tourism focused on our history, the events, the lifestyles, and traditions of the American cowboy and the Western frontier. Visitors are drawn to authentic Western experiences like rodeos and festivals, chuck wagon dinners, cowboy cook-offs, country music, Western apparel, museums, and of course the food. And we have got a celebration planned for you today. On the spurs of being named the best historic small town in America for the 4th time, yes, we celebrate the growth of our cowboy heritage and history tourism. Now, if you attend Rise and Grind, which is my favorite thing to do every Friday morning, and you are a Rise and Grinder, you know we have a unique way to start off Rise and Grind every Friday morning. So I would like to welcome up to the front, we have a little bit of oh, look, you're walking, good for you. She's in a boot. So even in a boot, she's capable of doing this. This is Linda Husong, our Visit Granbury specialist. She kicks off Rise and Grind every Friday morning. Now, if you know, you know. If you don't, just play along. Okay, Linda.
Okay, since it's cowboy tourism, I thought I should either yodel or do a yippee-ki-yay, but we're going to do this just like we do every Friday morning at Rise and Grind. I
have to say, the new people, thank you, Linda. When they come to Rise and Grind, we do not tell them what we do. And the looks on their face, especially if it's a new employer or something, they're like shocked. They don't know what to do with their face. But no event would be complete without us showing you our official Celebration Capital of Texas video. We're going to play the long version because we do not want to miss anything. It's about 2.5 minutes long. So if you will just bear with us and enjoy, this is why we are the Celebration Capital of Texas. Thank you. Travel Texas reports in 2024 that the Texas economy received $91.7 billion in direct travel spending. Now, these are the purchases by travelers during their trips, including lodging including lodging taxes and other applicable local and state taxes paid by the traveler at the point of sale. Granbury received $53.3 million total direct travel spending dollars into our community and $4.2 million in direct tax receipts. These are the taxes collected by the state, counties, and municipalities as levied on the applicable travel-related purchases. This is a tongue twister, including lodging, food and beverage, retail goods, and motor fuel. And even more impressive is in Hood County, combined with Granbury, the impact was $79.2 million total direct travel spending dollars and $7.1 million direct tax receipts. Now, this is really impressive numbers, and we are not even going into the employment numbers and the economic benefits in that way. But as Granbury's #1 industry, growth in tourism is important to our overall economy. For the first time ever, Granbury has experienced 3 consecutive years of hotel occupancy tax over $1 million. And this year is ahead of last year. So, you know, I could talk about this stuff all day, but that's the short of it, right? And now I would like to bring to the stage and introduce our Granbury Mayor, Jim Jarrett. who will proclaim May 4th through 14th, 2025 as National Travel Tourism Week in Granbury. Welcome, Mayor Jarrett.
Tammy just did what I was supposed to do. Thank you, Tammy. Take my hat off to. I want to just say very quickly, and Tammy does not have this in her script, so she'll be back there just cringing when I start talking. It is about the dollars and the economic impact that comes to our community. But what I really, really enjoy is being down on the square on any of our weekends during the week and seeing these visitors come in to Granbury. And as they walk past the square, they look at the beautiful courthouse, they look at the buildings that are there, they look at each other and they say one thing, and say it time and time again, they say, this is special, and this is special. And I'm gonna honor this young lady right behind us too, because it's special. So, our official proclamation, whereas the travel industry drives economic growth, progress, and employment in the city of Granbury and beyond, and whereas travel contributes 2.9 trillion, that's with a T, to the U.S. economy and supports 15 million American jobs, and whereas in 2024, travel spending generated $89 billion in state and local taxes, helping fund essential services such as education, emergency response, and public safety, and whereas travel remains a vital industry that supports businesses, strengthens communities, and promotes cultural understanding. Now, therefore, I, Jim Jarrett, Mayor of the City of Granbury, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th through 10th, and this day, May 14, 2025, as National Travel and Tourism Week in Granbury, Texas, and encourage all citizens to recognize the vital role of travel and tourism in our community. It's given under my hand on this day, May 14th. Tammy, thank you so much. Before I give this back to her, I do want you to know that I came in and Tammy, I said, what do I do? She says, you come up on the stage, you do your thing, and you exit left.
No, you don't, exit left. Oh, thank you, Mayor Jarrett. Thank you so much. One of the special designations that Granbury has received recently from the governor's office is our music-friendly community designation. And who better to introduce our thriving music community than our former mayor, Mr. Nin Hewlett, for his very famous Granbury song.
All right, Mike. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. I gotta learn how to operate microphones. Tammy, thank you for making me a part of your celebration here today. This is a great turnout here. I'm always looking for a crowd to play music to, and so, I got a captive crowd here, and thank you for Mr. Steele here, putting him at the end of the program so everybody's going to stick around for a long time. They want to hear this guy. But I did this song for Tammy one time, and she said, that's a great song for the Granbury. I want you to do it again and again. She called it the trolley song. I don't think it's a trolley song. But I hope you like it. I'm going to Granbury. Sing along if you know the song. Granbury, here I come. We're gonna do Granbury, yeah, Granbury, here I come. They got a whole lot of shopping there, and I'm gonna do this song. I'm gonna stand it on the corner by Bridge and Houston Street. I'm gonna stand it on the corner, yeah, by Bridge and Houston Street. With my Granbury woman and a bottle of that divine wine. I'm gonna do Granbury, Granbury, here I come. I'm gonna do Granbury, yeah, Granbury, here I come. train. I'll take a plane. If I get that trolley, I'm gonna get there just the same. Oh yeah, Granbury, yeah, Granbury, here I come. Hey, my Granbury woman, and a bottle of that Levi wine. All right now. Every day, every night, all night long, every day, every night, all night long, I'm gonna ride that trolley every day, every night now. But it's the best historical small town. It's the best historical small town. It's the best historical small town now in the USA.
Thank you, Nan.
You're welcome.
Here, this is your little thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Nin is the best, and that song is the trolley song to me, so I love it. We also want to take a minute and recognize our many previous Friends of Tourism Award recipients. There's 2 slides here to look at all the names, but these people have done tremendous things for Granbury, and we're so appreciative. So if you are a former recipient of a Friend of Tourism Award or media partner, please stand and let us give you a round of applause. Excellent. Now, one of the things that we do well in Granbury is host groups. We have lots of groups. And to talk about the impact of groups and the newly named David Southern Lake Granbury Conference Center, I would like to welcome to the stage Mike Linenberry, our facility manager, and Kristen Gibson, Visit Granbury Assistant Director.
Good morning again. Welcome to our home away from home for the folks that are on the team here. The David Southern Lake Granbury Conference Center plays a pivotal role in enhancing tourism in Granbury by attracting a diverse array of groups and events that contribute significantly to the local economy. Groups like UT Southwestern Medical, Texas City Management Association, Lone Star Street Rod Association that'll be here for their 50th anniversary in June. Spooky Spectacle, I saw Brandy back here earlier. Hi, Brandy. Lake Granbury Beautification Council, Hank FM The Ranch, and K-Hits, thank you guys. Coaches Outreach, the Chamber of Commerce, Mary Kay, who comes each year, and so many more. We have 20,000 square feet between the bottom floor and the top floor of adaptable meeting space, and our calendar features a variety of gatherings, including business conferences, expos, galas, and cultural festivals. The list consists of 120 events and just over 25,000 visitors, each one a positive impact on Granbury. I just rattled off a short sample of our groups. All are genuine partners in the experience we know as the Lake Granbury Conference Center. As we say to our visitors, we'll meet you at the lake.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Gibson, and I have the pleasure of serving as Assistant Director and Sales Manager at Visit Granbury. One of the most rewarding parts of my role is helping groups find the perfect accommodations and making sure they feel right at home in our beautiful town. While many of these groups go unnoticed by the average resident, their presence has a significant impact on our local economy. From hotels and motels to charming bed and breakfasts and short-term rentals, our visitors support our community not just by staying overnight, but by dining in restaurants, shopping in our stores, and enjoying our attractions. At Visit Granbury, we simplify the lodging component through what we call RFPs, which are requests for proposal. In this service, we provide both to our lodging partners and our clients. It allows hotels and other accommodations to submit availability and rates in one convenient email for the client, and is a great way to stay informed about upcoming events that will be overnight stays. For clients, it's a one-stop shop that saves them time and effort so they can focus on the other moving parts of their events and have the ability to view a wide variety of available properties that meet their needs in one tidy email. In 2024, we sent out 84 RFPs, resulting in 6,729 room nights. So far in 25, we've already sent out 23 RFPs for 3,975 room nights, and we're just getting started. That's the power of tourism and the power of collaboration. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to work alongside our partners and clients to bring more visitors to Granbury. Together, we're making a real difference. Thank you for your continued support and for being such an important part of this effort. Thank you.
So you see why our team is so special. I wish they all had time to come up and talk. Each year during the winter guest travel season, we have a special event, but I just want to give you a quick background on this event. We started this event, and I always have to give my good friend Sam Houston credit for it. He came to me when I first started, and also Chris Kaufman. But that's our slow tourism season, and it was like we need something desperately in the winter. And he said, I got this idea, winter guest, you know. And then Chris Kaufman in my ear says, we need something like a polar plunge. And so I start thinking about it. The next thing we know, we have created the winter guest season and a passport where you can come during the first 2 months of the year and get reduced prices on tickets with all of our attractions and discounts on hotel rooms. But then we needed a big event to kick it off. So we started the Goosebump Jump, which is now a very famous time where we go jump in the lake in January. We all come out with a cold and the flu, but we do it on behalf of tourism, and so it is so great. So we're going to take a minute and recognize some of our big group partnerships. We're going to ask you to stand if we call your name or you were part of it and we somehow missed you. And we have some small tokens of our appreciation for you. The event itself for Winter Guest Goosebump Jump is sponsored by the Lodging Association. Every hotelier puts in $1 per room to start the money, and then everyone registers $10 and they sign up for a charity of their choice. And it has become quite a competition. So far to date, let's see, I think we've done 4 or 5. We have contributed over $16,000 to our community charities. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, if you would please stand, if you are a sponsor, if you are part of the Lodging Association, K-Hits 95.5, Norma Savage and Jerry Schlegel. JR Spas, Ken Sezernick. Hilton Garden Inn, Tracy Crow. Texas EMS, Ricky Reeves. Hood County News, Mr. Sam Houston. City of Granbury, Michael Ross. New this year, Vampire Penguin, who does snowballs on the beach and nothing but cakes. So let's give them a round of applause as we say thank you. We would also like to take a minute to recognize, Sam Houston is with Hood County News, thank you. We would also like to recognize our partners and sponsors with the Spartan and Tough Mudder events now in our 5th year combined. 2 events over 2 weekends in the fall. So far, the economic impact numbers over the past 4 years is $24 million to our region. Granbury is not large enough to handle all the hotel rooms, so we partner with neighboring cities. 15,000 participants come to these 2 events every year. And without these sponsors, this would not be possible. The City of Granbury, please stand. Michael Ross, City of Granbury. Hank FM, The Ranch Radio. Hood County News. Granbury Chamber of Commerce. Visit Cleburne, I would like to say, where is she? Heather Juarez? Heather is the CVB director in Cleburne. So Heather, welcome. The City of Crescent, Hilton Garden Inn, Hotel Lucy, if you were with Hotel Lucy, La Quinta, Best Western, Oakdale Park, and Off the Vine RV, Waste Connections, Comfort Inn and Suites. So let's give them a round of applause. That event requires a $100,000 commitment to come to Granbury. So that is the significance. Hello, Chief Galvan. We welcomed you earlier. I was glad to see your face. All right, I would like to take a minute and invite Visit Granbury's PR representative, Mary Lester, to the stage to assist me in recognizing and thanking the many tourism partners who made a very special day possible. I'm going to take you back a minute to late November of last year. For those of you who were there, we had the WFAA Daybreak Live Christmas on the Historic Granbury Square feature. I will tell you, it's the earliest I've ever been up in my life to be on the square. I took a shower and put my makeup on the night before and slept sitting up. And I am not kidding, so that I could do it, and it worked. But Mary Lester is part of the Visit Granbury team, and I would like her to say a few words, and we can read the names. Come on up, Mary.
Thank you so much, Tammy. So good morning, everyone. I'm Mary Lester, and I've had the pleasure of working on public relations for Visit Granbury for more than 10 years. Wow, it has been such an honor to see the growth that this team has made happen. Mr. Ross referred to this time in Granbury's history as revolutionary, and I could not agree more. And that kind of coverage, media coverage, outreach that we've done, impact, doesn't happen without amazing leadership. Tammy Dooley is not just our tourism director. She's a visionary. She is a true leader in the state of Texas when it comes to tourism. Her energy, her strategy, and her dedication are second to none. She is seriously the leader that inspires all of us to work harder, to do more, and to just keep up with her, honestly. Public relations and media relations are critical tools in our tourism toolbox. And here at Visit Granbury, we take that very seriously. We pitch, we plan, and like Tammy said, we deliver. We believe in this town, and we know the power of a story well told. So thank all of you for being part of our story. We want to take a moment to thank everyone who helped with that WFAA Daybreak story that Tammy mentioned. Daybreak has more than 75,000 viewers every day, so that's just one of a small piece of stories that we do every single year, but this one took a huge effort to make happen. So it was a major win for our tourism efforts, and we're going to call to the stage everyone who helped make this amazing segment happen. So
Just have them stand
you
up.
can actually stand up, and then we'll bring your award to you. So the first person is Channel 8 host Sean Giggy. And the Visit Granbury History Ambassadors in full costume. Triple Cross Cowboy Church Chuck Wagon. They provided free breakfast burritos for the crowd, especially Steve Bumpus. Historic First Presbyterian Church, Church Bell, Sylvia Hickey. The HGMA stores that were open at 6 a.m., which is amazing. The numerous GISD organizations, including GHS Stowaways Band and Drumline, the Junior Optimists, middle school student groups, Acton Middle School Cheer, Acton Elementary Student Council, and GISD Board Trustees, and especially GISD Director of Communications, Lissa Oliver. We've got just a couple more. We have Santa and Mrs. Claus, Ken and Arliss Holland. We have Eagle Eye Ranch Carriage Company, Kayla and Joe. The Granbury Volunteer Fire Department. We have Josefina's Tamales and Southern Reflections Kettle Corn. We have FNB, Michelle Lucerno, and Divine Wine, Diane Hedges. So let's give them all a big round of applause.
Thank you all. They are all receiving the Celebration Capital of Texas Challenge coin. Next, I would like to call Caitlin and Kristen up to the stage to start Caitlin Girardi and Kristen Gibson to the stage to start our Distinguished Friends of Tourism Awards. Our first award recipient are everyone's favorites, Tricia and Ike Thomas, the Nut House Hotel, Granbury Live, and Celebration Hall. This morning, we honor two visionaries whose passion for Granbury's history and hospitality is changing the face of the square and preserving its heart. Tricia and Ike Thomas have poured their energy, resources, and love into restoring one of Granbury's most iconic landmarks, the historic Nut House Hotel. Their work is not just a renovation, it's a revival of Granbury's rich past and a bold investment in its tourism future. But their dedication does not stop there. With their dedication to Granbury Live, they've helped breathe a new vibe into the local arts and entertainment scene, ensuring that visitors and locals alike can enjoy live music and performances in the heart of the town. The Thomases are not only preserving our history, they're creating experiences. Their generosity, community spirit, and vision for what Granbury can be make them true champions of tourism. Their ranch, True Grit, also serves as the host location for our annual Tough Mudder event. We're proud to present this award to Tricia and Ike Thomas for their extraordinary commitment to Granbury's past, present, and future. So let's give them a round of applause and invite them to the stage. Please say a few words.
Well, thank you all for the award and acknowledgement. We sort of, in a lot of these ventures, we came in a backwards way. Even Granbury Live, we were actually friends with Tom and Sandy McRae, and we had no interest in buying Granbury Live, but as circumstances unfolded, we ended up, we did buy it. And so it's a long story, but so I won't go into all that. But also we had no interest in the Nut House. Other than we always loved it. We had dined there years before and et cetera. But we had a friend, Cindy Nobles Thrash, who owned it, and it burned, and her husband had health issues. She decided she couldn't handle it anymore. She wanted to sell it. She had two major buyers that ended up turning her down because it wasn't economically feasible. And we were talking to her on the phone one night, and when she told us that the second buyer turned her down, and we got off the phone, and sometime after that, one of us said, somebody needs to do that. Somebody needs to revitalize the Nut House. And it's probably 20 minutes later, one of us said, well, maybe that somebody should be us. So ended up, it wasn't just us. We put a group together and revitalized, and I think it turned out very well. And hope you enjoy it. We have a lot of local artists, including the Tabor's over here that contribute to the motif there, and it's really, I think it's one of the best art galleries west of Fort Worth. So come and enjoy the art there as well. What else you?
I'd just like to thank the volunteer fire department for saving that beautiful building, because if it hadn't been for them, it's been the Nut House since 1893, and we're thrilled that it is still the Nut House, and it's been a hotel since 1916. So we're thrilled to have it back up and running and presented to the town. I think the town needs that corner of the square. So thank you very much, Tammy, for the award.
Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
won't tell the other story about you.
Yeah, he's not going to tell the Tough Mudder story. I just let me say, getting him to let us use that ranch was quite the thing. And thank you, Ike, for doing that. Our next Distinguished Friend of Tourism Award is going to Rebecca Metters, owner of Silver Saddle Saloon. And to read everything fabulous about Rebecca, I would like to invite Kristen Gibson up.
Rebecca Metters, owner of Silver Saddle Saloon, is a true creative spirit and proud champion of the Western charm. Rebecca is a visionary behind one of Granbury's most unique downtown experiences, the Silver Saddle Saloon. Her barler concept blends an old-fashioned ice cream parlor with a full-service saloon, offering boozy ice cream, Texas brews, and plenty of fun for visitors and locals alike. Rebecca is more than just a business owner. She's a tourism partner, music supporter, and enthusiastic advocate for Granbury. From hosting live music to welcoming out-of-town guests, she helps make the square vibrant and unforgettable. Please join us in recognizing Rebecca Metters as a distinguished friend of tourism for her creativity, community spirit, and commitment to making Granbury's music scene shine.
Well, Kristen told me that I needed to have a little speech prepared, but she pretty much did it for me. So the only thing I would like to add to that is that, tourism, other than on an economic level, is especially important for folks who are seeking a way to escape their everyday lives, the stressors, and just kind of get out and explore new areas and new experiences. And that's our mission at Silver Saddle Saloon. So, and that's, we created it. All the different concepts just came together and to make one. And with all of that in mind was the experiences it could create for others. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I love it. Everyone loves Silver Saddle Saloon. Okay, our next Distinguished Friend of Tourism Award goes to somebody very special. I wish I could tell you the whole stories about him because it's great, but Homer Robertson, world champion chuck wagon cook and Western ambassador. Yay, Homer. Actually met Homer at Steve and John at Barry's Warren's backyard. We were doing some event, and that's how I met him. And they had some idea about doing a chuck wagon cook-off, and the rest is history, right? A proud Granbury native, Homer Robertson is a world-renowned cowboy cook and true champion of Western heritage. From trail cooking to rodeo arenas, Homer has represented Granbury across the country, sharing our town's spirit through food, storytelling, and authentic cowboy hospitality. Over the years, Homer has brought national recognition to Granbury by representing Texas at prestigious events across the country, including appearances on television, food festivals, and cowboy gatherings. His dedication to keeping the cowboy culture alive through food and storytelling and hospitality has made him a local treasure. He played a major role in bringing the Texas State Championship Chuck Wagon Cook-Off to Granbury from Ruidoso, and an event that draws visitors from all over and helps spotlight our rich Western roots. That's a tongue twister. A firefighter, champion ranch rodeo competitor, and local legend, Homer continues to bring people together to put Granbury on the map. Today, we are proud to honor Homer Robertson as a distinguished friend of tourism for preserving cowboy culture and sharing Granbury with the world. Homer, will you please come up and let us present you with your award? Yeah, sure. Yeah, here, get pose right here for her.
So thank you very much. It excites me to see as many people proud of Granbury as I am. So my great grandmother came here from Tennessee in 1868. Across the river, wheel fell off the wagon. Great grandma said she was too big to be carried just as far as she's going. Stayed right here, lived over on Travis Street until 1955, until she passed away. So Robertsons have never lived outside the shadow of the courthouse. So, and that's still true today. I'm really accepting this for the Texas Cowboy Symposium. The symposium, we created that because we brought this event, Chuck Wagon Cook-Off, down from Ruidoso when they kind of faltered there a little bit and some change in leadership. And so we wanted to have an event here. We needed a good Chuck Wagon Cook-Off. And so we worked really hard. I worked with the Berry family. I have a number of sponsors that have supported that event. And all we do is a charitable foundation. We don't make any money off of it. All that money goes to spending money at the Hood County Livestock Show to buy youth animals. We gave, just the other day, $5,000 to the Granbury High School barbecue team. So we're supporting the youth of Hood County. If anybody wants to help us with that endeavor, we'd love to have you do that. There are a number of people here that help me with that. Mr. Thompson at Sandex and Cheney Ice Center and certainly Warren's Backyard and I mean there are a number of people here that do that, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but I couldn't do it without a good committee. Certainly my wife Kathy helps me with this all the time. She hates it when I take on more stuff, but I've got Dr. Cobb is here and Sandra Price and Harold Price in the back. Help me with that. Cindy Peters. We have a number of people on our committee. So it's a big event. We're trying to keep Western swing music. We have 2 great dances. We sell tickets to the Chuck Wagon dinner. So come out and support us. The Hood County News, Sam Houston helps us with a number of things to help promote that event. So we appreciate that. I'm super proud of Granbury. I'm super proud that we're supporting Granbury in the way we do. And thank you, and hopefully we can get more support as we go forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And of course, Homer did our biscuit and gravy bar today, so how great is that? Thank you, Homer. We appreciate you so much. Our next Distinguished Friend of Tourism Award, I love presenting this, goes to Wes and Francie Stevenson, founders of the Hood County Stampede Rodeo. Wes and Francie have helped shape Granbury's identity as a hub of cowboy tourism through their work founding the Hood County Stampede Rodeo, a high-energy event that draws rodeo fans from across the region and celebrates our Western roots. Wes is a 10-time National Finals Rodeo qualifier who was inducted in the Texas Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame last year, and Francie is the driving force behind the scenes, including the sponsor liaison of the massively popular Diamond and Denim Gala And they have built more than a rodeo. They've created a community tradition that gives back. Through their event, they have raised thousands for youth scholarships, first responders, and local causes. Their leadership, generosity, and passion for cowboy culture have made a lasting impact on tourism and life in Granbury. Today, we proudly recognize Wes and Francie Stevenson as Distinguished Friends of Tourism. So please join us on stage, Wes and Francie, and the tourism powerhouse couple you are. Yay, Francie! Yay.
Very good.
All
You want to
right.
speak? You want me to? You got it?
And guys, we got to be honest, when we moved here to Granbury in 2016, we did not plan on starting a rodeo here or trying to raise money for kids. There was just a circumstance and that came about to where we saw kids falling through the crack and somebody needed to do something. And so God put it on our hearts, and we're just trying to do our part and live here raising kids. And we have been so blessed to be in this community. Look out, and it's become home to us. And for Tammy, the city of Granbury, Ron Massengale, I can look out, there's a lot of people that along the way that this would not be possible. The packing out the stands and raising money for kids and things that come along wouldn't be possible without this community. I've been so blessed to be a part of it.
When we started, one thing I'm going to say is when we started in 2017, it was strictly to put on a family event and raise money for kids. Little did we know that we would be able to bring a professionally sanctioned event to Hood County, and in just 8 short years be able to donate over $100,000 to a variety of children's organizations in this community. So it's pretty cool that, and I say this every time, if you've heard me at Rise and Grind, if you've heard me speak all the time, I will say our events next weekend, Memorial Day weekend, everything is going on that weekend, and we love it. It's Hood County. So if you can't come to our event, great. Follow us on social media. Tell your friends. Share it. Sign up for our newsletter on our website. Just let people know that we exist, and that's all that I can tell you, because love us from afar, love us in the stands, but just love us along the way, because our end goal is to help children in this town. So, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Francie. We're so proud of you. Our next Distinguished Friend of Tourism Award goes to Kelly Clark, owner of Shoot 2 Productions and creator of Granbury's Bull Riding on the Beach. Kelly is a Hall of Fame rodeo veteran and second-generation cowboy. Kelly Clark has brought big-time rodeo action to Granbury City Beach with his signature event, Bull Riding on the Beach, a one-of-a-kind experience that draws crowds from across Texas and has been named Bull Riding Event of the Year. As the heart behind Shoot 2 Productions, Kelly brings energy, entertainment, and cowboy spirit to everything he does. He's not only a crowd favorite, but also a key tourism partner, helping spotlight Granbury as the celebration capital of Texas. Please welcome Kelly Clark, Visit Granbury's own barrel man, funny man, and friend of tourism, to the stage as we recognize him as a distinguished friend of tourism.
Get a picture, hold up your little plaque. All right, there you go. Keep it short.
I'm not going to be short. I was timing everybody else, so I've got time from theirs. So I just wanted to explain to everybody how we got here. It's God who brought us here. 13 years ago, I was at the radio station at the ranch downtown, and their production guy, Billy Thornton, asked me if I would do another town. And we talked about a few towns, and I said, I'd like to do Granbury. And I said, he said, where would you do it? And I said, man, if I could, I'd like to do it on the beach. So we called a lady right then, and as we began to talk to her, she interrupted me and said, is there any way you could do this on the beach? So God was in it the whole time. We pull in every time we come down here and look at that beach spot over there, and I'd tell you you're lying if we could put on a bull riding right there. But we've done 12 of them, and 8 years ago, I was over there setting up on a Friday, and a gorgeous young lady came up to me and said, "Are you Kelly?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "How can we keep you here financially?" And y'all know who I'm talking about. It's Tammy Dooley. And I said, "I don't know. Nobody's ever asked me that." So we created a partnership 8 years ago, and we take them around the country as well, the city of Granbury. And I'll tell you, we thought we were very lucky to have Tammy Dooley on our side, but I'll tell you who's lucky. The city of Granbury is lucky to have this lady right here. My son we're Shoot 2 Productions. My wife is in the hall with my grandchild because she got to having too much fun. My son's here. He's part owner in it too. He runs the show. I've got backpen help here. I've got arena help here. I've got our VIP help here. It's all of them who are Shoot 2 Productions. I'm just up here carrying this back down to them. Thank y'all. We love Granbury.
Crazy, you're crazy. Okay. All right, our next award is fabulous, Crystal, Mike Linneberry and Crystal Douglas are going to come up and present one of our last awards. Let me see, this may be our last Friend of Tourism before, no, there's two more. Okay, come on up, guys.
No, we're really excited about this award. When Tammy told us we needed to pick somebody, and I'm a little off script here, for our Cowboy Heritage today in staff meeting, and our whole team almost looked at each other simultaneously and said, Mike Tabor. It was an easy choice for us. So now I'll go back to script. The David Southern Lake Conference Center is pleased to recognize Mike Tabor as a Friends of Tourism Award recipient for his outstanding contributions to Western art and for sharing his work with our community and guests.
Mike Tabor is one of the most respected Western expressionist artists. Tabor began his formal career, or his art career, training at Tarleton State University. Upon graduating, Tabor began a successful teaching career at Granbury High School, lasting some 30 years. He went on to become the Fine Arts Department chair at Granbury ISD, where I graduated, the same halls where he inspired so many. One of my fellow alumni, Kelsey Daffin, and current art educator here right in Granbury, says, I've been fortunate enough to know Mike Tabor as a teacher, a mentor, and a friend. Somehow, he manages to be an even better guy than he is an artist. And that's about as great as it gets. I'm thankful to know him and be a cheerleader for his continued legacy.
Mr. Tabor comes from a working family. Whether it's ranching, construction, or creating art, he finds satisfaction in the process. And according to his bio online, is this correct, Mr. Tabor? You have no intention of stopping. No. Before you leave today, please take time to wander our halls where 10 of Mr. Tabor's paintings that capture the spirit of the American West are displayed. You can also enjoy some of his sculptures and additional paintings on his studio website, and you will not be disappointed. It is a regular occurrence that visitors stop and admire his work, and we are always pleased and proud to say that he resides right here in Granbury. Thank you, Mr. Tabor, for your artistic contributions and for being a part of what makes the David Southern Lake Granbury Conference Center unique. Please come to the stage.
Turn around and pose for the camera.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, those are a lot of nice words for a hillbilly in Central Texas. My career started here 45 years ago. Louise Ratliff took a chance on me and put me in her gallery. It's been worked out well, and I appreciate everything that Granbury has done for me in supporting the work that I do. What we really need to talk about is what's going on in Granbury now. they've got the Granbury Art Commission, Shanley Park. There's so many great things happening in Granbury now with the art scene and the support that they're getting. That's who we want to honor, and that's who we want to keep our eye on, because they do a lot of work in bringing people to Granbury, and I know when I speak for them when I say thank you for all that support. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, I know we're running, we need to run quick, so I'll do this, but we have one last award before we hear from our speakers. So this next award is our Media Partner of the Year. This year's Media Partner of the Year award goes to a woman who has not only helped tell Granbury's story, but has shaped the way the world sees us. For over a decade, she has assisted the city of Granbury behind the scenes, pitching stories on our behalf. We collaborate and work together almost daily, securing regional and national media coverage, developing strategic public relations campaigns, and connecting Granbury to travel writers, influencers, and outlets across Texas and beyond. Her relationships run deep, and her passion for this community shows in every pitch we do, every press release we do, and every well-placed story. From special hotel features and event spotlights to must-see magic on the historic square, she has made sure Granbury shines. Her consistency, professionalism, and unwavering love for our town make her an invaluable part of the Visit Granbury tourism team. We are proud to recognize and totally surprise Mary Lester as our Media Partner of the Year. Congratulations and welcome back to the stage, Mary Lester of MPLPR. Come up here. You can't be shy. Yay, Mary.
Thank you, I'm so surprised. That's so nice, thank you so much.
I know you are.
Thank you so much.
Say something, just say something quick.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that I've been with you all for more than 10 years. It's been my greatest joy, honestly, of my professional career to work with Visit Granbury. I love this town. I love all the people here, and just seeing the growth and seeing the exciting things that we've done through media outreach, public relations, and just the amazing leadership of the Visit Granbury team. I'm just really proud of the work my agency has done here, and I just want to thank all of you and thank Tammy so much for your leadership.
All right, that is so great. Okay, we're moving on to volunteers. I would like to invite Caitlin Girardi up to read about our volunteers.
All right.
There you go.
Howdy. Ooh, I'm from College Station. That was rough. Howdy. Thank you. Volunteers do so much for Visit Granbury and the city. They drive floats for the parades. They stuff over 10,000 visitor welcome bags each year. They go on multiple FAM tours each year for training. They greet over 6,000 visitors to our visitor center alongside our visitor information specialists. And they are dedicated visitor information specialists or professionals who work at the Visitor Center 7 days a week. Additionally, our Visit Granbury History Ambassadors welcome thousands of visitors each year in full period costume, offering enchanting stories as they ride the trolley or stroll around downtown or grace us with their presence here today. The independent sector and the University of Maryland's Do Good Institute estimate in the 2024 national value of a volunteer's time to be $33.49 per hour. In 2024, the Visit Granbury Visitor Information Professionals, or VIPs, generously volunteered 2,015 hours to the city and Visit Granbury, contributing an estimated $6,440.35 in value to the city of Granbury. As we read your names, please come up to the stage so we may recognize you, and then hang around because we'd like to get a group picture. Tammy?
Okay. All right, we'll read these fast, so if everybody would come up, and if you're a volunteer, you'll come on up, please. You don't wait for your name to be called. Andy and Cheryl Neal, Ken and Arliss Holland, Carolyn Reeves, Dan Vanderberg, Dee Wilcox, Dee Zinda, Ava Margle, Linda and Gary Johnson, George Bowden, Gloria Enriquez, Jane Cahill, Vicky DiGiovanni, Kent McKern, Linda McDonald, Lois Vikers, Patricia Bowles, Terry Evans, Carol Hafe, Richard Hafe, Cynthia Pig, Marcia Dickens, Myrta Wood, Paul and Barbara Lloyd, Stan Moore, Sue Uten, Suzanne Walsh, Jan Caldwell Hewlett, Nin Hewlett. Nin, I consider you a volunteer. And as Caitlin was saying, it's $66,000 in contribution to the city. So if everyone will just take a quick, stay up here and take a group picture. Okay, everybody up here? You're gonna have to squeeze together.
Yes, sir. Please smile.
All right. Thank you all so much. You may return to your seats. Big round of applause for these guys. Anytime I need them, they show up without fail as quickly as they can with a big smile on their face. Thank you guys. All right, I'm going to begin. This is an honor. And now our Volunteer of the Year. This distinguished VIP is everywhere. I mean it. This year's Volunteer of the Year is ever smiling, the ever giving, the ever laughing, don't sit down, Sue Uten. Short-term rental owner, an actress, community cheerleader, and devoted Rise and Grind supporter, Sue brings heart, humor, and hospitality wherever she goes. Whether welcoming visitors, lending a hand at events, stop it, or stepping into character as Sudie Nutt with the Visit Granbury Historia Ambassadors, Sue's passion for Granbury reflects in all she does. She's a quiet force behind the scenes and a joyful presence at the forefront, always showing up, always lifting others. Having worked the most hours this year as a volunteer and probably many, many more that she did not count. Thank you, Sue, for being one of Granbury's brightest stars. We are proud to recognize you as this year's Volunteer of the Year in Tourism.
All I've got to say is I'm just Sue.
Wait a minute. Sue is shy, but she is an actress, so I love it. Well, we're going to go. Sorry we're running a little late. We thought we had this time better, but we have had some special guest speakers over the past, including Chet Garner, the day tripper, and Nate Guerin from the tourism office of the governor's office. But today we have a very special guest, Mr. Red Stiegel. Yes, give him a round of applause. Red is a celebrated Texas native whose multifaceted career spans over 45 years as a recording artist, songwriter, poet, actor, television, and radio host, and passionate ambassador of the Western culture. With roots in agricultural science, Red transitioned from a successful stint as a music executive in Hollywood to become a beloved Western swing musician and cowboy poet. Known for hits like Here We Go Again and Lone Star Beer and Bob Wills Music, he has performed worldwide including for President Reagan at the White House. And I will tell you, when I spoke to him and asked him to come speak, it was going to be last Wednesday, and he said, well, I've got to do this thing at Ronald Reagan's. I could change. I said, no, we'll go any day you can be here. And has released over 20 albums and 200 recorded songs. Red is the creator and host of the Cowboy Corner radio and Somewhere West of Wall Street on RFD TV, celebrating the Western way of life. He is also the founder of the Red Stegall Cowboy Gathering in Fort Worth and a member of numerous halls of fame, including the Hall of Great Westerners and the Texas Country Music Hall of Fame. Honored as Texas' official cowboy poet, Red continues to embody and preserve the values, traditions, and music of the American West. We are honored to have Red Stegall here today, so let's give him a big Granbury welcome.
Thank you, Tammy. To say that I'm proud to be here would not even come close to expressing my appreciation for your allowing me to come and talk to you and say hi to you, see some old friends and make some new ones. That's what life is all about, isn't it? And I am so impressed with the hometown spirit that you possess and the way you show it in your volunteer services. And I'll guarantee you, if you go anywhere in the world, think about this. Nobody ever says, I'm from the United States. I mean, that's all they say is, I'm from the United States. Somebody say, where are you from? I'll guarantee you, every one of you will say, I'm from Granbury, Texas. Because we're proud of who we are, where we come from. We're proud that we have been standing on the shoulders of giants, and we revere the contributions of the people who came before us, who settled this part of the world, who made it what it is, who gave us an opportunity to experience a lifestyle that we dearly love and fight fiercely to protect. And it also gives us a sense of where we're going, so we have a vision for the future. And it always encompasses three things: tradition, heritage, and values. And because of where we come from, we experience a set of values that make us a harmonious society. And that set of values is based on honesty and integrity, loyalty, work ethic, dedication to your family, convicted about your belief in God, and practicing common decency and respect for your fellow man every day you live. That's who we are. That's who we strive to be. That's who our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren will be because of your influence. And we're that way because of the influence of the people who came before us. I love small-town America. I grew up in the only town in the entire state where the city limits signs are back to back. It's one of those places that by the time you get there, you've been there. Population remains about the same. Every time a baby's born, somebody leaves town. You're going to have to explain that to them, girls. They didn't get it. We had one road in and one road out of Sanford, and it was the same one. And right downtown, it made a curve. And the entire downtown section of our city sat either inside or outside the curve. And on the inside of the curve was a one-pump Phillips service station. Ryan Robertson built it out of wood left over from the Ark. On the outside of the curve was our Baptist church, the only one of its kind anywhere in the world at that time. It had a flashing neon sign. And it flashed day and night. If you're tired of sinning, brother, come on in. And that was our Saturday afternoon entertainment, was to sit there and watch that sign as it flashed if you're tired of sinning, brother, come on in and try to figure out how it knew to do what when. And one afternoon we noticed that some lady had written in lipstick on the window right underneath that sign, "If you ain't, call 736-5799." It was a fun place to grow up, a real fun place. Now, I had a buddy, we were 14 years old, and he had somehow or another managed to get the very first electric lawnmower or powered lawnmower that we'd ever seen. It was those kinds he pushed that we mowed what little grass we had in the panhandle. Well, he got this one that had a motor on it. So when it died, he didn't know how to fix it. So he sold it to the Baptist preacher. It wouldn't start. The Baptist preacher came down to see him. See, you couldn't call anybody in Sanford because we didn't have but one phone. And it was down at Brian's service station, and he was the only one brave enough to use it. We were scared to death of that thing. You couldn't see who you was talking to. So if you wanted to see somebody, and they lived all the way across town, you had to walk all 3 blocks to go visit with them. So Brian walks over to my buddy's house, and he knocks on, the Baptist preacher knocked on the door, and my buddy came to the door, and he said, "Son, I hate to tell you this, but that lawnmower won't start." My buddy said, "Preacher, I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you, you got to cuss that lawnmower to get it started." And the preacher said, "You know, it's been so long since I've said a cuss word, I'm not sure I remember how." My buddy said, "Keep pulling on that damn rope, it'll come back to you." I loved growing up in a small town because everybody's a character. But the one thing that I learned in all these years, our number one asset is agriculture. Because it doesn't make any difference how big our armed forces are, how fast our technology is, how fast our cars are, how fast them trucks will run, how tall our buildings are. It doesn't make any difference if we can't feed ourselves. None of that makes any difference. So our number one asset is our agricultural community, and that's where we get the set of values that we live by and believe in. Because if you'll think about it, when the settlers first came here, in 1874, Weatherford, Texas was the westernmost point of civilization in the entire state, except for a few ranchers along the Clear Fork of the Brazos, and some out this way that lived totally in the wilderness. So we lived a long way apart, and we depended on each other. Our one motivation was survival. We didn't worry about how much the taxes were. We didn't have to worry about how much the groceries cost because we raised it all ourselves. There was a completely different society. So this was where the West begins, and still is, because this is where our set of values lives. So we learn to take care of ourselves and our families in our own way, and that's with our own ingenuity, our own talents, and our ability to utilize the land. So to me, the most important thing that we own as Americans is our ability to individually own land, utilize it while we're here, and pass it on to future generations. I believe with all my heart, private ownership of land is the single most important element in the progress and security of a free and independent society. Every once in a while, you're going to need a doctor. Every once in a while, you're going to need an attorney. But 3 times a day, 7 days a week, you need a farmer and a rancher. And so let's protect our agricultural community. But the thing that's most important to me is that we can pass that land on to future generations, along with the set of values, along with the reverence for our history. I've kicked up the hidden mesquite roots and rocks from the place where I spread out my bed. And I'm laying here looking at a sky full of stars with my hands folded up beneath my head. And tonight there's a terrible pain in my heart, like a knife that cuts jagged and deep. This evening the windmiller brought me the word that my granddaddy died in his sleep. So I saddled my gray horse and rode out to a hill where, when I was a youngster of 9, my grandfather said to me, "Son, this is ours. It's yours, your daddy's, and mine." He said my granddaddy settled here after the war. That new tank's where his house used to be. He wanted to cowboy and live in the West, come to Texas from East Tennessee. And a longhorn were wild as a deer in them breaks. With a long rope he caught him a few, and with the money he made from trailing them north, proved up this homestead for you. When the railroad got closer, they built the first fence where the river runs through the east side. Then when I was a button, they built these corrals, and that winter my granddaddy died. He said my father took over and bought up more range. With purebreds he improved our stock, and windmills looked like they grew out of the ground. Then that land got as hard as a rock. And during that dust bowl we barely hung on. The wind tried to blow us away, but it seemed that the Lord took a liking to us. He kept turning up ways we could stay. As my father grew older, he gave me more rain. We'd paid for most all of this land, and by the time he went on, I was running more cows, and your daddy was my right-hand man. His eyes got real cloudy. He took off in a trot, and I watched as he rode out of sight. And though I was a child, I knew I was special. And I'm feeling that same way tonight, because not many years later, my daddy was killed on a ship in the South China Sea. And for 20-odd years now, we've made this ranch work. 2 cowboys, my granddad, and me. And now that he's gone, things are certain to change, and I reckon that's how it should be. But 5 generations have called this ranch home, and I promise it won't end with me, because I've got a little one home in a crib. And when he's old enough that he'll understand, from the top of this hill, I'll show him his ranch. Because like me, he was born to this land. We're all born to this land. And it's up to us, individually and collectively, to keep it alive and safe and healthy and productive for future generations. We all are a part of agriculture. Thank you. I like to tell stories about the men and women who not necessarily make their living horseback, working cattle, providing beefsteaks for the dinner tables of America, but they are the major focus of what I write about, and the people in agriculture. But we used to do a lot of celebrity ropings for cystic fibrosis, and we raised millions of dollars with Ben Johnson as our patriarch. And we did them in Hollywood and Fort Worth and Houston and lots of other places, and had a marvelous time. Well, when I was 15, I lost this shoulder to polio, and so I don't have any use of it. And putting a heavy saddle on a 15-hands horse is a pretty good deal for me. So I was always the last one in the arena, the last one at the hotel, because it took me a while to unsaddle my horse. But I didn't mind, because that's the load God gave me, and I handle it with respect and with dignity and with gratitude, because losing that shoulder gave me the impetus to do things in a different way. I don't say, well, that's the way to do it. That's the way I do it. And so it gave me an individualism because of the infirmity that I wouldn't have ever had otherwise, because I was a smart aleck. I was bulletproof. I was made of rawhide. I was radioactive. I didn't even have to get up and do anything. I could just sit in the corner and zap them. So I was a smart aleck, but that experience took it away from me. So I've learned to adapt, and I've learned to do things my way. So there was one experience. We were staying at the Omni Hotel in Houston, and I was the last one in the hotel. And when I walked in the door, Ben Johnson was sitting on a couch over there with a little Choctaw Indian friend of ours named Joe Crow, who had been a cowboy all of his life. And Ben yelled at me. He said, "Red, come here. I want Joe to tell you a story." So I walked over there, and he said, "Joe, tell Red about the time that Will Rogers rode your bicycle. And so I'm standing there. I didn't even sit down. I wanted to hear the story full bore. And he said, I was a little boy, and my best friend was Herb McSpadden, who was Will Rogers' brother-in-law. And he ran Will's ranches. And so I went with him one day, and we put my bicycle in the back of the pickup, and I said, where are we going? He said, we're going to the city. Will and Wiley are about to take off and go someplace in the plane, and I need to talk to Will. So I went over there with him, and we drove up to the plane, and Will's standing there by the plane, and he looked over in the pickup, and he said, is that your bicycle, Joe? I said, yes, sir, it is, a little 24-inch bicycle. He said, can I ride it? And I said, sure. So he took it out of there and he got on it. He looked kind of funny, that big guy on a little old bitty bicycle. And he rode it around the tarmac, and he said, gets the kinks out of my legs. So he brought it back and put it in the pickup, and he started up the stairs to the plane. And Herb said, Will, where are you boys going? And Will said, Wiley and I are headed to Alaska. And he said, thanks for letting me get the kinks out of my legs, Joe. And Herb said, be careful. There's a lot of deep rivers between here and there. And Will said, I'll make you a deal, Herb. I'll leave a good horse on this side of every one of them. I couldn't get away from him fast enough. I saw this whole movie in my mind. And I wrote this in his honor. I stood by the fountain as they brought him out, a lost, lonely look on his face. I ain't never seen him in nothing but boots, and the wheelchair sure seemed out of place. It took him a while to recall who I am, then confusion broke into a grin. It was though we were saddled up, ready to ride the hackberry pasture again. He laughed as he said, I remember the time that yeller bronc swallowed his head and pitched you so high that you turned over twice. Me and Benny Bob swore you was dead. He looked up at me and said, how is old Ben? I lied and said, he's doing fine. No need to remind him his brother was gone. Ben died back in '79. For most of an hour, we rode at a trot. We branded and shaped up the steers, drank gallons of coffee, ate sourdough bread, and cowboyed for 51 years. I thought he was an old man when I was a kid. At a time when I needed a friend, he took me to raise and taught me all that I know about horses and cattle and men. See, my daddy had died, and I needed a job, and I was big for a kid of 15, so they put me to work on the 4-6's ranch. I was dumb as a gourd and as green. We was looking for strays in the Wichita Breaks. There was me and John Gaither and him. I'd lost sight of John. I was looking around kind of daydreaming there on the rim and rode up on some cattle hid out in the brush. A 2-year-old steer come by me, throwed a 9 in his tail, and cut a new trail right out through them salt cedar trees. Well, I lit out behind him a-giving her hell. This colt I was riding was green, but I thought to myself, he ain't getting away. This roan is a running machine. We was going full bore when we got to the bank. Stream wasn't wide as my hat. I almost pulled up. Then I thought, what the hell, I've jumped rivers wider than that. Well, I bogged that old pony plumb up to his gut. He was wallering and thrashing around and going down deeper with each desperate lunge, and me praying he'd find solid ground. Then just at the moment that I heard his voice, a rope appeared right by the roan. Get out of that cack and hang on to my line. The colt will get out on his own. I've crossed that old river many a time. Found me a bog once or twice. But I still remember a 30-foot rope and a good cowboy piece of advice. When you ride that river, son, make sure your horse is gentle and seasoned as well, because only the good ones will get you across. That quicksand goes clean down to hell. I got up to leave, and he reached for my hand. He said, son, I'm sure glad you dropped by. If you see old Ben, have him saddle my horse. I hate sitting waiting to die. His voice started cracking. He swallowed and said, I'm nearing the end of my ride. But if I cross the river before you get there, I'll leave a good horse on this side. So I thought about that. What are the horses that we leave on this side? What are the horses we're riding today? Or do we call them honesty and integrity and loyalty, all those different things that we revere? Is that the kind of horse we ride? If that's the kind of horse we ride today, that's the horse we leave. Because when we leave the boundaries of this earth, the most important thing is what we leave. And like a man named Edgar A. Guest said, I would rather see a sermon than hear one any day. So our goal in life is to be the kind of person that someone else wants to emulate in a positive way. Be a sermon at whatever you do. I have a friend who lives out close to the New Mexico line, and he hates to go to town worse than a possum hates a hoe handle. And one day his wife said, it's Saturday, I got to go to town and do the shopping, and I can't do the shopping taking care of that kid because I have committed to our only daughter to take care of our only grandson, and you've got to go with me to help me out. So he said, okay, he'd go. So when they got to town, they parked in the parking lot. He went in the CVS store and took the kid with him. She went in the grocery store. And they walked in the door, and this kid said, I want that. He said, you can't have that. The kid laid down on the floor and started slinging his arms and kicking and screaming. He said, William, cool it. It's a temporary situation. We're not going to be here long. Just control yourself. The kid gets up and he said, I want one of those. He said, you can't have one of those. The kid laid back down on the floor and kicking and screaming. He said, William, just cool it. We're not going to be here long. Just control yourself. The kid gets up and reaches inside the shelf and walks the full length of that shelf and pulls everything off in the aisle. He said, William, I'm telling you, this is just a temporary deal. We're not going to be here long. Control yourself. Think about it. You get out in the parking lot, and this lady walks up to him. She said, sir, I couldn't help but notice how you treated that child with dignity and respect. William is a very lucky boy to have you for a grandfather. He said, ma'am, I'm William. This little demon is Steve. When I get him home, I'm going to wear him out. I spent 5 summers on my uncle's farm in northwestern Iowa, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that I learned more in those 5 summers than I have in the rest of my life put together. The most important lesson I learned was we were going to a field about 1.5 miles from headquarters, and we're driving down the highway, and my uncle looks out his side of the pickup and kind of to himself said, I'd give anything in the world if Mr. Cornwall would have those boys plow those rows straight. And I looked over on his side, and all I could see was the next stalk as we went down that field of corn. And I looked over on our side, and I could see all the way through to the end of the field between every single row. And I very foolishly said, Uncle Floyd, what difference does it make? Corn's in the ground. It's going to grow anyhow. The color started rising about right here. By the time it got just below the bill on that decab cap, he turned around and said, it makes a difference to me. I'm a farmer. This is what I do. And I want to be the best I can possibly be. I was 13 years old. And that's the best lesson I ever learned. Because I realized that my destiny depends on me. It depends on how I set my sails and where I dock my ship, how I live with the decisions I make. My destiny belongs to me. Not to my uncle, not to my siblings, not to my parents, not to my school teachers, and certainly not the government. It belongs to me. That was the most important lesson I ever learned in my life, and I live that way every single day. How is that going to affect what I want to do in a positive way? The other thing that locked that into my psyche was I love John Deere. And the kid next door had one of those old Poppin' Johnnies, one of those old one-lungers, and I loved the sound of that tractor. And he would tantalize me by going up and down in front of our house driving that tractor and wouldn't even let me touch a tire, much less get in a seat. So my uncle knew how much I liked John Deere, so he bought me a book on John Deere. And I read it cover to cover several times. And there's one line in the entire book that stood out to me that governs the way I look at things even today. In 1857, John Deere said, "I will never put my name on a product that does not have in it the best that's in me." So I wake up every morning and I decide what I'm going to do that day. And as I'm working on it, I am constantly thinking, is that the best you can do? I write a line in a poem. I go over it and over and over it. Say, is that the best way you can say that? Is that the most emotion? Does that portray a big enough picture? So regardless of what I'm doing, I remember that. I will never put my name on something that does not have in it the best that's in me. After all these years, that's where this poem came from. We'd picked up all the fencing tools and staples off the road. An extra roll of barbed wire was the last thing left to load, and I drew a sleeve across my face to wipe away the dirt. The young man who was helping me was tucking in his shirt. I turned around to him and said, "This fence is finally done. 5 new strands of barbed wire shining proudly in the sun. And the wire, it's running straight and tight with every post in line. The kind of job you're proud of, one that stands the test of time." The kid was not impressed at all, stared off into space, reminded me of years ago, another time and place when I called myself a cowboy. I was full of buck and ball, and I didn't think my hands would fit post augers in a mall, but they sent me out with Shorty and the ranch fence building crew. I was quite insulted, and before the day was through, I let him know that I'm a cowboy. This ain't what I do. I ain't no dad-burn nester. I hired out to buckaroo. He said, "We'll talk about that, son, when we get in tonight, but right now you pick them augers up. It's either that or fight." Boy, I was digging post holes faster than a Georgia mole. But if a rock got in my way, I simply moved the hole. So when the cowboys set the post, the line went in and out, and old Shorty's face got fiery red, and I can hear him shout, "Nobody but a fool would build a fence that isn't straight. And I got no use for someone who ain't pulling his own weight." Well, I thought for sure he'd hit me. Glad he didn't have a gun. I turned around to find a place where I could duck and run. But Shorty walked up to me just as calm as he could be and said, "Son, I need to talk to you. Let's find ourselves a tree." Well, he rolled a Bull Durham cigarette as we sat on the ground, took himself a puff or two, then slowly looked around. "Son, I ain't much on schooling. Didn't get too far with that, but there's a lot of learning hidden underneath this hat. And I got it all the hard way, every bump and bruise and fall. Sure, some of it was easy, but son, most weren't fun at all. But one thing that I always got from every job I've done is do the best I can each day and try to make it fun. I know that busting through them rocks ain't what you like to do, but getting mad, you've made it tough on me and all the crew. Sure, you hired out the cowboy. You think you got the stuff, and you've told him you're a good hand, and the boss has called you a bluff. So how's that going to make you look when he comes riding through and he asks me, who dug them holes? And I say it was you. We could let it go like this and take the easy route, but doing things the easy way ain't what it's all about. The boss expects a job well done from every man he's hired. He lets you slide by once or twice, then one day you'll get fired. Because if you're not proud of what you do, you won't amount to much. You'll bounce around from job to job, just slightly out of touch. Come morning, let's redig those holes and get that fence in line, and you and I will save 2 jobs, those being yours and mine. And someday you'll come riding through. You'll look across this land, see a fence that's laid out straight, and know you had a hand in something that's withstood the years. And then proud and free from guilt, you'll smile and say, boys, that's the fence that me and Shorty built. We're all in this together. We're all building that fence together. Let's make sure every single strand of that wire is straight and tight and every post is in line. I was doing that in Gehring, Nebraska one night, and I came out front in the auditorium to sell books and CDs, and this great big guy, and I mean big guy, walked up and he said, boy, if I had a gun, I'd blow you away. I said, why in the world would you want to do that? I don't even know your wife. He said, when I was a kid, my daddy got into that savory system, and he cut all of our ranch up into little pastures so he could use the rotation. My little brother and I had to fence every single pasture. I went off to college, got a degree in engineering, had a wonderful career in engineering. Daddy died, I came home, took over the ranch. I've had to rebuild every damn fence on that place because of that poem. So that's the greatest compliment that anybody could pay me. We all work together. It takes all of us, whether we want to admit that or not. We can take credit for our part of the idea, but it takes all of us to make this and keep this the greatest nation on the face of God's earth. And so I'm reminded of the young man. Well, I better tell you that I grew up in the part of Texas where we still measure rain by the distance between the drops. Half inch of rain doesn't do you any good. You don't even know you had it. And an eighth of an inch, the only way you know you have that is because it leaves little mud puddles on the hood of your pickup truck in the dust. So we don't really get enough rain during the year to wash the oil and the rubber off the asphalt. So when we do get a good squall, it gets slicker than the dickens. And I'm reminded of the young man over in Dallas. He had one of those little bitty low-slung red convertible cars. And he's going out to Lubbock. And he gets out there around Dickens and hits a rain squall and slips off into the bar ditch and buries that little car plumb up to the axles. Now, he's been over with his granddaddy in East Texas and watched him get stuck in those little gummy mug holes and put it in drive and gun it and then jam it in reverse and gun it and put it in drive and gun it and work himself out of that mud hole. So he tries it. He just went down deeper in that sand. He had a blanket in the back seat. He put it behind the back wheels and gunned it and just buried that blanket. He had one of those little fold-over Army surplus shovels in the trunk. He got that out and got down on his hands and knees and started digging out in front of the front wheels. Got in there and put it in drive and gunned it and just went down deeper. He's desperate. He's used all of his tools. Doesn't know what he's going to do. And he looks across the field out there, across the pasture, and sees a light in a window about a quarter of a mile away. So he goes over through the bar ditch and over that highway and through the bar ditch on the other side and over the barbed wire fence, tromping along in that pasture, muddy pasture, with a tremendous amount of apprehension because he has no earthly idea what kind of reception he's going to get at 2 o'clock in the morning. He walks up on the steps and he knocks on the door, and this fellow answers the door in true West Texas style, with a great big smile on his face and a loaded 12-gauge shotgun in his hand. He said, "Son, you having trouble?" He said, "I am. Got my little car stuck in the bar ditch on the other side of the highway. I said, I can't get it out. Can you help me?" This fellow said, "Yes, I can help you, but you're going to have to give me a couple of minutes to hook up old buddy." So in a couple of minutes, he comes out of the barn with this big Clydesdale in full harness, dragging a chain. They go down they grab a hold of that chain and go down the lane on the other side of the highway, and they hook that chain up to the front end of that car. This fellow takes the reins and he says, "Pull, Polly." The horse just stood there. He said, "Get up, Dan." Nothing. He said, "Pull, Jill." The horse just stood there. He said, pull, buddy. And that old horse just pulled that little car up out of that highway, slicker and a whistle. Parked it on the asphalt. This young man said, Mister, I am eternally grateful to you. But I ain't leaving here till you tell me why you call that horse all them other names for you called him Buddy. He said, son, old Buddy's blind. And if he thinks he's the only one pulling, he ain't gonna move an inch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all pulling on the same chain. We all want the same thing. We want the future generations to live in a beautiful land we call America, in a beautiful state we call Texas, in a beautiful city we call Granbury. So let's keep it alive. Let's make sure that we do our part to make it happen. And thank you so much for listening to me today. May God continue to bless all of you. May God continue to bless this beautiful city of Granbury. May He continue to bless the great state of Texas. And may God continue to bless the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Red Seagull. Oh, wow. That's amazing, Red Seagull. Thank you so much for being here and honoring us with your presence. Let's give him another round of applause. All right. I apologize that I was the reason we went long today, but let me just finish by saying, as you can see from today's celebrations, events are the heart of what makes Granbury a thriving destination. We have over 50 events a year and longtime favorites like the Chamber's Hometown 4th of July, a newcomer event, the Battle of the Bulls, a professional bull riding with some of the top 30 bull riders in the world. Tanya Brown is here. Tanya, you might want to stand up and wave to everybody, and she will be doing this event again this year. We continue to attract new events and repeat events, and we're so proud of that. As we conclude today, I would like to thank you all again for being here, for your continued support of tourism. Take the time to connect to the people in this room, because united we are unstoppable. I would like to thank my amazing team, the Visit Granbury Tourism team, the Lake Granbury Conference Center team, including our trolley department, which is here, Mary Lester. They all work at an extraordinary level. I would also like to thank the entire City of Granbury staff, many of who had to leave because they have to get to work, who, without their forever support, including things you may never see, like maintaining our venues and public spaces and parks, maintaining 2 trolleys on the road, Aaron and Roy for your teams, for all the crazy wild requests Visit Granbury has, Rob Jackson, who hand-built the cactus in the back for our donuts, and managing our audiovisual today. Jeff and Chuck in our communications department are here today capturing all the moments and many more, and the entire City of Granbury team, who without their support we could not do our jobs. Tracy Miller, Vicki Foes, Texas Equine Experience and Sanctuary, thank you for bringing the donkeys out. Mary Vinson, Hood County News, you always make us look great, thank you. And finally, as we wrap up, please remember to take with you today some special treats to enjoy. There are Celebration Capital of Texas bandanas on the table for you. There are cake donuts in the back with sweet to-go treat bags for you. Also up front, we have the limited edition posters. These were only printed once from our 2023 designation. And I will let you know that the governor's office just sent us the official proclamation, which is framed up here on display for anyone who wants to see it. Thank you to our city council and mayor, especially for our 2 new trolleys that are helping us get tourists all over town. And our biggest thank you to Mr. Homer Robertson for the Chuck Wagon Biscuit and Gravy Bar and Red Steagle. We adore you and all that you've done for cowboy tourism. We will see you back here next year. I promise to keep it shorter. And we love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.